All right, so we're going to talk about why lifecycle stage misalignment happens, why it's a big deal, and how you can get around it today. I'm on a nice walk outside in the beautiful Orlando, Florida. It's 75 degrees, which means that it's very chilly, and I have to put on this long garment. I think it's a turtleneck. I don't know. I don't wear long stuff. But anyways, let's get into it. So basically when I'm thinking about this topic here, we talk about this all the time with our clients. It's a big discussion that we have because it causes so many other issues. So this is the root cause of a lot of misalignment between sales and marketing, about arguments with numbers and attribution and all the other stuff that you hear all the time. And so there's a main reason for this, and I'll use an example to kind of drive home the point. So if I tell you that I'm thinking of a bus, and I like buses, they have good memories for me. They have like a worn out leather smell. I have a fun time on them. You might be thinking I'm absolutely crazy. Why is that? Well, that's because you think of a city bus because maybe you used to ride the bus in a downtown area and it wasn't very nice and it smelled like throw up and people were loud and you hated it. And we're both talking about buses, but two completely different buses. Because I might be talking about a school bus and you might be talking about a city bus. And so this is the exact same thing that's happening when we're talking about life cycle stages. So you might have one version of an MQL in your mind while someone else on your team has a completely different version. And that's a problem, right? Because if you're not operating from the same mental model of the words you're using, then you cannot communicate. This actually reminds me of my philosophy courses from college, specifically a book by Ludwig Wittgenstein. I believe it's called Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, if my Latin pronunciation isn't completely terrible. And one of the main premises of that book is the fact that a proposition doesn't have any meaning if you cannot tie it back to reality. And while that might be an isolation of your own thoughts, it also is relevant when you are discussing things with other human beings, because if you cannot agree upon the reality of that proposition, then you simply cannot communicate about it in an effective manner. It's just in vain, right? And sorry if I keep pausing the video here because there are constant planes flying over the top of me. And so going back to life cycle stages, it's the exact same thing. You have to operate not only with individuals in the same mental model of the life cycle stage, but you also have to do it across teams. You have to agree upon a definition down to the nitty gritty to make sure that you all are thinking of and understanding MQLs, SQLs, opportunities in the exact same way. And so this language misunderstanding and misalignment is the fundamental cause of all problems that stem back to life cycle stages. And it has a downstream impact on everything. You can't even define your metrics, your KPIs, if you're not operating from the same definition. And a lot of people think on the surface level that they are aligned, but when you actually get into it, they are not, because you can take a specific example from an MQL, from an SQL, from an opportunity, put it in front of marketing and sales, and they'll give you two completely different explanations as to why or why not it fits that specific stage. And so I encourage you to do this with your own team, because otherwise you're going to be thinking that you have an MQL to SQL conversion rate, or you have a MQL to customer conversion rate, and marketing is thinking one thing, and then your sales team is thinking a complete other thing. And the way to get around this is clearly just to have everyone from sales and marketing, and I mean everyone from leadership all the way down to the very bottom of the totem pole, in the same room discussing each and every life cycle stage and what the definition is of it until you come to a unanimous agreement, either by everyone's own power or because from a top-down perspective, someone dictates what that definition is. So one thing I haven't specifically talked about is the actual impact of life cycle stages not having alignment across your teams in terms of definitions. And the main impact of that is you're going to see leakage of conversions between every single stage to stage movement. And so marketing might think that they are providing quality leads for sales, and that ultimately they're not turning into revenue of no fault of their own. And sales might be thinking that they're just getting garbage leads, so how are they supposed to actually hit their numbers in the first place? And so you're losing efficiency in every single stage. It's like having an AC vent running through your house, and then each connection between each part of the vent has a small leak in it or a big leak in it, and you're wondering why the room in your house furthest from the AC unit is never getting cool. It's the exact same thing, except it's worse, because you're having an impact of millions and millions of dollars lost for your company rather than just having a room not be as comfortable as you wanted it to be. And while money is always a fun topic to talk about in terms of impact, in reality, it's going to have even worse conclusions or worse impact on your business, because all of your employees will be frustrated. You'll have a lot of employee churn just because everyone feels like they're spinning wheels. No one is ever working towards the same goal. They're working hard, but the rest of the team isn't picking up the slack, and vice versa. And so in reality, it's really that everyone just has different definitions of things, and everyone's actually doing a really good job at their job from their understanding, but the communication is just off. And so this just goes down and down and down. And so it's not just money that's impacted, but it's everyone's day-to-day experience as an employee and their performance. So these were just some thoughts while I was on a walk here. Hopefully you can hear most of this, because there's a lot of background noise, I guess, in Orlando. I didn't notice until I started recording while I walk here. But I'm Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData. This is the type of stuff that we think about, talk about, and do with clients. We basically are like RevOps with a guarantee. So we do a 15% revenue lift guarantee in 6 months, because we are that confident in what we do and the plays that we have. So check out our website if you haven't yet, and I will see you on the next video.